Hello everyone. So in this section we will be learning about the creation of invalid age exception, that is the customized exception. So how we are going to do that? Let's just check that out. So I have created a class which is called as invalid age exception, and because it is a customized exception we need it to get extended from the parent class, that is the exception class. So that's what I have done over here, because every single class, every single exception in exception handling has the parent class as exception. Okay, so for now I will just create a constructor over here, that is it, and I will call the super over here, because super everyone knows will call the parent constructor. Let's just execute and check it out what happened. For now it has been nothing happened. Why? Because we haven't invoked the exception yet. So now how to invoke the customized exception, right? Well, before doing that, let me just decrease the age over here and check it out if anything happens. See, nothing has happened because we haven't invoked the exception yet. So let's check it out how to invoke the exception. For invoking the exception, we have to use a special keyword that is called as throw. So I will write the keyword here, throw. So we have to throw a new exception only when the age is less or equal to 18. So I will write it down, throw new. What exception I have to throw? I have to throw invalid age exception, right? So I will check it out over here. And let's see. Invalid age exception. Okay, so I have written what? Throw new invalid age exception. Because I have used the keyword throw over here, so throw keyword is used for throw. I will just write it over here, okay? To invoke an exception, use keyword throw. Now this exception will be thrown over here. Who is going to handle that? No one for now. Whose responsibility is to handle the situation if the exception has been arised, right? So for handling that situation, because this method does not right now knows what to do or what to not to do. So what it will do, this method will just delegate its responsibility to the calling method. Why? Because it has not handled the exception yet, right? Whenever there is the customized exceptions invocation of the exception, you have to write the code for handling it as well. But because we are not writing the code for now, what will we do? We will use another keyword over here, that is throws. That is, we will say that this registration method is throwing an exception. Which exception? Invalid age exception. So now the caller method, who is calling this exception? This main method. So main method jo hai, it will now know that if I am calling the registration method na, then this method is going to throw an exception. Which exception? Invalid age exception. Therefore, if the age is less or equal to 18, this will throw an exception. Now it does not become the responsibility of this method to handle this. No, now it becomes the responsibility of the main method to handle the situation. See, because it is showing an error over here, unhandled exception type invalid age exception. So now we will use the try catch over here to handle this exception. See, I have written try over here. Try, call the user method. If there is an exception, you will handle it. And what you are going to do, I will just print a message over here. Age less than 18. Yeah, we will just write it as not applicable. That is it. I will just write it down for now. Okay, so the exception has been arised, invoked, the exception has been handled. Let's now check it out. What will happen? See, if the age is less than 14, call the registration method. It will call the if wala section. It will throw an exception over here, invalid age exception. Okay, but now how to catch the exception? I will show you something. I will write it over here. e dot print stack trace. That means I will just print everything what has been done. See, thread dot invalid age exception has been created, has been invoked, right? Right? And now just to show it that what is the deeply the message, the information. So for that I will just write it over here. I will write here invalid age exception. So now because I have just written over a parameter over here, I have to send this message. I will just correct the statement in valid age exception. So I will just write the message over here so that this message will get called to this constructor. When get called, this message will get copied into the message string, and this message I will pass it on to the super constructor. Okay, now what will happen? Let's just check it out. So if you have remembered, every time we have the exception has been arised, it has always shown invalid age exception or the information of the exception. So if you want your exception to show the to show a particular information of the exception as well, because it will always show the name of the exception, the information of the exception, and the lines where the exception has been occurred. So it has exactly shown the same way. Okay, so you can just pass on the message through this method to the parent constructor and it will just print it. So this is how you can call, you can create the customized exception. You can invoke the customized exception using the throw keyword. You can delegate your responsibility to the caller method using the throws keyword. And this is how the customized exceptions work. Hope you guys understand. Thank you very, very much.